Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Surviving with Sicket.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks so much for tuning back in for our next episode. As you can see behind me here, we've gotten some of our dark oak logs planted. We actually got some oak planted over here as well, so we're just kind of farming up some wood. I've done a bit of gathering off camera to get most of the materials that we're going to need for our starter house that we're going to try to get built in this episode. So we got some granite, we got a bunch of stone bricks that we smelted up some cobblestone into regular stone so we could make those. Got a lot of cut copper here and a bunch of deep slate we mined out. And then of course the oak and the dark oak and the birch. Definitely did bring some dripstone as well. I think we're gonna probably try to use some of that. We got some oak leaves for some decorations. We are still missing a little bit of spruce since we haven't found any spruce wood yet. I do have a couple of spots where I think I might want to include some spruce wood or some spruce fences and things like that. And I don't quite have that yet, so those details will probably have to be added on a little bit later after we've had some time to do a bit more exploring. But we have most everything that we're gonna need to get started on our starter house here. So I think we're gonna go ahead and just get right into it. We're gonna go ahead and start working on that. So let's get started. All right, so I think we've gotten a pretty good start going on our starter house here. As you can see, we're not totally done yet. There are still windows that I haven't gotten the glass yet for. I did go out and grab some sand, so that's smelting up in the furnaces there in our little hole in the wall, so we can end up putting the windows into the building here. I also, as I mentioned before, have some details that I wanted to add, like some fences around here, but I think spruce wood will look really good with the oak and kind of contrast with the lighter birch on the floor here. So I'm hoping at some point in the near future we can venture out maybe in a different direction from where we did our exploring last time and find a spruce forest or a mountain that might have some spruce trees on it, so we can get some of that spruce wood to bring back. Again, we're smelting up the glass to get in some of these windows here, and it is still empty on the inside. I haven't moved over any of my stuff from the little hole in the wall that we've been using just yet. I think we'll probably try to get at least the windows in and stuff before we start moving everything over. But I'm pretty happy with the start here we have. Couple things to note. Of course, we did bring in some of the dripstone that we were talking about from the dripstone caves over here, and then put in some of the copper as the roof up here on this kind of tower section. In the design that I have, this is actually not all just regular orange copper, but I didn't really want to take the time to lay it all out and let it oxidize first, so I figure we just build it up and it'll oxidize over time. If you're not familiar with how copper works in Minecraft, when you place it down, it does go through different stages of oxidation. And so as it sits out for longer periods of time, it'll start to change to a kind of a tealish color, but it'll go through a few different stages. And what we're kind of hoping for is that we can have a bit of a, kind of some different colors in there, with some of the more oxidized, fully oxidized copper, and some that's kind of in the in-between stages. However, the only issue we'll have with that is we don't currently have any bees that were, at least nearby, that we're farming up honeycomb from. And the honeycomb, what we could do with that is to use it on the copper whenever it's at the stage that we want it to stay in, and it'll become waxed copper. And at that point, once it's waxed, it won't continue to age any further. So at some point we'll want to do that. We'll want to get some bee nests and start farming up some honeycomb so that we can wax some of the copper once it gets to the stages that we want it to. It's not really a problem though, because if it does go beyond the stages, if it gets all, if we end up with having a full teal, fully oxidized roof, what we can do is we can hit it with an axe, and it'll actually bring it back one stage. So we can kind of change up what stage each of the copper blocks is at if we need to, if we don't get the honeycomb in time for it, to all be before it's all fully oxidized. So not a problem there, just something that we'll probably look at doing in the future at some point, so that we can get that kind of different colors and stuff that we want to have in that roof. But aside from that, I think the house is definitely coming along pretty well. So I'm gonna get that glass put in here. Something else though I wanted to mention, a little bit off topic, but I was reading through the comments in the last couple of videos, and somebody made a really great point, which was that we have not made one of the kind of best early game items that you can have in Minecraft, and that is actually a bucket. Now that we have a bit more iron, we can definitely go ahead and make that. And the reason a bucket is so useful, well, of course, one is that you can grab water sources. So if we wanted to, say, move our farmland somewhere else, we can go ahead and grab water, and we can place it down somewhere else to be able to hydrate our crops in other places other than just by the river. So that's one great reason to have it. Also, we can use lava with a water bucket. If we find some lava like we found over on the other side of the hill here, what we can do with that is we can use the water to turn the lava into obsidian. And if you're not familiar, obsidian is what you need to make a portal to go to the Nether, which is like the fiery dimension that has lots of scary stuff in it. But we will definitely want to go there at some point, because it also is somewhere that we need to get to in order to get some of the items we'll need to continue progressing towards the end game, to get to the what's called the end, the final dimension in the game, where you fight the Ender Dragon. And that's where we can end up getting those shulker boxes and the elytra wings and stuff that we kind of talked about in the first episode, the stuff that really makes it easier to start really building up our world and exploring our world a lot easier. So that was definitely a great shout out. I think that was David that mentioned that in the comments in one of the last videos. So thanks for pointing that out. Definitely always good to have a bucket on you. It's also useful just for if we fall down a big cliff, since we don't have those elytra wings yet, we can try to save ourselves with a water bucket. If we land in water, even if it's just one high water, we don't take any damage from the fall. So we can try to use that to, save ourselves from falling. It's also, just good to have a water bucket on you, like we talked about with the lava. If we fall in lava or something like that, good to be able to put ourselves out of fire. So lots of uses that water bucket can have, and a great thing to have in the early game here. So thanks again for that shout out, for that comment, David, and definitely something we'll try to probably carry around with us for the majority of the early game, and probably even into the later game. It'll be something that we're using quite often. So I just wanted to mention that, but yeah, again, house is coming along well. I have, while between the recording of that time lapse of the house building and now, I have actually continued to do a bit of mining as well. So we've gotten a bit more redstone, a bit more copper, a good bit more iron as well. But I wanted to bring you back in because while I was down here doing a bit of that mining, we found a couple of interesting things. So we'll dive back down into this mine shaft here so I can show you what we found. This is just where I've been digging out. I've had a couple pokey holes here, getting some materials. We're kind of right down at the level where it starts to turn into deep slate, so it's a little easier to mine out the regular stone. So I have kind of stuck around this level for now. But as I was continuing down here, we opened up into a bit of a cave section. So we started kind of exploring down in the caves here, and if we come down around here, I did start lighting it up a little bit, so hopefully we won't have too many monsters showing up in the dark down here. If we come down around this way into these, this additional, this more dripstone-y area over here, I haven't quite lit it up a whole bunch deeper in here. See, we got some creepers in there, but as you can see just behind that creeper's head, there's some wood planks sticking out. That is going to be a mine shaft that we could potentially explore, which is really nice. There's can definitely be some good loot up in the mine shaft. Of course, there also can be some monsters, some creepers and stuff up there. So we'll want to, get a little bit more prepared before we start venturing up that way. But that's something awesome that we can check out here, in one of the next few episodes. Do some exploring in the mine shaft and see what kind of goodies it has for us. And then, as I continued to do some more caving down over this way, see if I can find the tunnel we went down into. Let's see here. Nope, not that way. Where did it go? Here, I believe this is it. It was a little bit further up the cave there. So I ventured down in here again. I haven't had I've been running out of coal, actually, which I need to try to find some more of. So I haven't been able to light a lot of this up, so we do still have some creepers. But if you can see right down there, we've got some diamonds. And I know I mentioned in one of the first episodes that we probably won't do a lot of mining for diamonds, but of course if we can find them right here nice and easy to get, we will always take that. And I believe, if we can get rid of this creeper here first. Get out of here. There we go. This up a little bit more. I do believe this will be our very first diamonds. Yep, got the advancement for diamonds for getting our first diamonds. And look at, there's actually another one down here as well. Is that all? Looks like just the 2 diamonds. But hey, 2 diamonds is a good start. So yeah, I think, oh, look at that. There's actually some more right over there as well. Let's see if we can get over here without any... Oh, lots of monsters starting to come out now. See if we can grab these quick and get out of here. Oh, one more diamond, not bad. Care of this zombie and we can back up out of here. Don't see any more diamonds right away, but there are definitely quite a few more resources down here. There's some iron, there's some gold in the floor there, redstone, more iron, so lots of stuff down here. Once we can start lighting it up a little bit more, make it a little bit more safe for ourselves to do some more exploring. But yeah, I just wanted to bring you back in to kind of show you what we had found there in between building up the house and doing some of the caving to try to get some resources. The main reason that we're kind of trying to get a bit more resources is because one of the things I want to start trying to do in maybe the end of this episode, I don't know, it's probably getting a little long here, so possibly the next episode is going to be to start getting some very basic farms set up. So a couple of things that we'll want to try to get, we want to try to start probably farming some sugar cane. A couple reasons we'll want that. One is for the paper that we can get from it for making bookshelves. If you're not familiar with what that is for, we're going to need bookshelves for enchanting. So now that we've gotten some diamonds and I think we have some obsidian, we'll probably need a little bit more of that. We could make ourselves an enchanting table. You can see in here. I don't think we have it unlocked yet. So once we get some books and I believe diamonds and obsidian, I'm not sure if there's anything else we need for it, but we can make ourselves an enchanting table. but the enchanting table on its own actually will just give us very low level enchantments. But what we can do is we can add, I believe, up to 15 bookshelves around the enchanting table, and that will raise the level of the enchantments that it can give us so that we can start getting some of the higher level enchantments. They do also require you to have 30 levels to get those, but as you can see at the bottom of the screen here, we do have 31 levels, so we would actually be able to start right away getting those level 30 enchantments as long as we have the bookshelves and the enchanting table. So that's definitely something we'll start working towards. But the sugarcane will also be useful for when we do eventually go to the end, when we start to head towards fighting the Ender Dragon, and we start adventuring out in the end and find the elytra, because we can use gunpowder, which we actually just got some of from the creeper we killed, and paper to make ourselves rockets, which would be used to propel ourselves through the air with the elytra. So that'll be another good thing to have the sugarcane for. Another thing we might want to set up is maybe some sort of automatic farm for the pumpkins, because those will be great for trading with the villagers, which is another thing we'll probably want to do in one of the next coming episodes here, is start moving those villagers over closer to our house here. I might just make them, a little, either a little hole in the wall, or maybe we'll even just move them into our old hole in the wall that we have over here, or something to begin with. But I do think eventually what I'd like to do in this series is kind of start a little village in the valleys here between these hills. So maybe build up some more houses, maybe not quite as big as our house here, because it's just for the villagers. They don't really need a whole ton of space, but maybe start digging out some of this, flatten it out a little bit, and start putting in some other houses for some of the villagers to live in, so that we could, give them a little bit of a nicer place. Maybe not too fancy, but a lot of the time villagers just end up getting stuck into what people call a villager trading hall, where they're just kind of lined up in little one by one spots, and that works. That works really well, actually, because then they are always in the one spot where you need them, and they continue refreshing their trades. But I think maybe we'll try to actually give these villagers some different houses that they can live in. I think that would be kind of a fun thing to do. So that's probably something we'll work on later on as well. But yeah, I think I'm going to continue doing some mining. That probably will probably start to bring us towards the end of the episode here. I don't know that we're going to have time to start some of those farms just yet. So maybe we'll go ahead and get those started in the next episode, some of the pumpkins and the sugar cane. I didn't think I mentioned this. I brought some bamboo back over that we found in the shipwreck, I think it was, where we found the bamboo. So that'll be good. That can be used for fuel if we need it, for smelting things. It all can also be used to make scaffolding, which will make building some of these taller structures a little bit easier before we have our wings. But yeah, so we've gotten a pretty good start here, a nice little starter house. I think we might just throw some of the windows in, and we'll be in pretty good shape. So I think we will probably kind of call it there as the sun starts to set here, kind of right here in front of our brand new starter house. So, thanks so much for watching again. I really appreciate you coming back in for this episode, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the beginnings of our starter house here. And thanks for watching, and I hope everybody has a great day, great night, great evening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.